his experience on Immortals, right? Where PowerOfEvil is not the guy to kind of sacrifice his lane to play for jungle. He's more going to prioritize his farm. He wants to be that big team fight carry later on. So Kenvi is going to have not only much tougher opponents in the LCS, where the jungle pool is extremely strong. I think this is actually our strongest position overall.
I agree.
In the LCS. So tougher opponents.
Yep.
And now getting focused here as well. Kindred was a champion that he's really well known for. Again, that really kind of feast play style where he's getting all the farm. He's being that big carry.
So here's the list of champions Kenvi's played more than twice with a positive win rate in descending order of pick rate. Number 1, Viego. Number 2, Lucian. Number 3, Kindred. Ring a bell here in the draft.
Yeah.
Then you go 3 champions down of sub 50% win rate champs, and then 3 games on Italy, 3 games Diana, 3 games on Graves, all positive. And those are, I mean, you can play some, you know, Diana, Yasuo at some point, obviously with an Azir, but they've been like, hey, we are taking out your top 3, and your next 3 you don't win on.
And to be fair, this is only really from Spring Split, right? So
yeah, sure.
The vast majority of his games were on those 3, you know, and that was kind of the meta, to be fair. So at least Kindred was not, you know, that was a little bit out there, but Viego Lucian. So we'll be interested to see where he is going to take us. Wukong obviously was banned out, you know, first round of bans. Fiora grabbed again here blind. So more and more people just feeling like it's actually just that strong. This is my perm ban when I play top lane in solo queue right now. Like I actually just think Fiora is good early and outscales you late. So it is very frustrating to actually deal with in a 1v1 situation.
Oh, no, it's not. There's no way.
No, it's a jungle pick, so it would make no sense.
Yeah, I know. But so Singed mid, by the way, is incredibly good. It's basically...
Oh, this would be an interesting carry pick.
Yo, I love it.
Okay.
The less spicy
like
version
this.
of Rengar is Nocturne.
Yeah, but really, really good for playing through sides, right? Now you have not only Fiora, you have Fiora with Senna ult and Nocturne ult, right? So Fiora can play through side, and if you're even doing okay in that 1v1, Senna ult plus Nocturne ult can really make the difference. So it becomes very difficult. And we'll see, is Huni just going to go like, all right, I'm going to play something that loses like a Sejuani or an Ornn or whatever and try to play defensively? That's not really Huni's style. If he does go for the Vladimir, I think this is risky because you've got to expect that there's going to be a lot more help coming for Revenge than there is for Huni. So maybe a bit of a tough one for him. We'll see. Looks like a trade bug again. So I think we're going to have another remake, unfortunately. The client seems to be struggling pretty hard these days.
That isn't unlucky. So we just get more time to talk about the draft.
Yep.
Gives me time to look up solo queue data for matchups that I haven't seen a lot of in pro play. Obviously, right, Fiora is new to the pro meta for the first time since around 2015, feels like.
I mean, it's been in over the years, especially in LPL, to be fair, but as a niche pick.
Right, so it's like, hey, I haven't seen a lot of Fiora Vlad matchups, right? So it's like, okay, I'm gonna for now rely on solo queue until we get enough pro play. We're like, okay, I've seen the matchup play out enough that I like it. So let's talk about what us mortals at home have done in Fiora Vladimir. So much like the Jace matchup, win rate drops by 2%. You know, Vladimir makes up some ground by the matchup being good, so Huni has indeed found a matchup that, at least by solo queue data, looks really good into the champion. As far as laning stats, Fiora actually favored very slightly in First Blood, but what's the opposite of favored? Disfavored? Disfavored in First Tower, which means that you're generally going to see...
I guess.
Oh, sorry?
You're like an underdog.
Yeah, you're an underdog. So she is the underdog in terms of lane pressure. Yeah. Unsurprising, right? It was much more neutral in Jace matchup. It is actually quite Vlad flavored. Flavored? Sure. Vlad favored here as far as lane pressure.
Blood?
Raspberry?
Oh. I guess I went much darker.
What is your default red flavor? My favorite red flavor is cherry, but
I feel like the default is strawberry, if I'm going to be honest. Okay. It's not my favorite of the red flavors.
Agreed.
I think raspberry is just better.
Yeah, I agree. As a fruit and as an artificial flavor, actually.
Actually, both. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
But strawberry, I would say, is the default.
Okay. What is your tier list of red fruit?
Of like for like the actual fruit, like eating the fruit.
Yeah.
I would say it's like raspberries and cherries are up near the top.
Yep.
Apples are pretty good. I eat apples. But as far as like berries, it would be like, you know, kind of like cherry and raspberry. Yeah. And then strawberries below.
Strawberries below.
Good strawberries are good.
Yeah.
But like average strawberries
are below average.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Dragon fruit. I'm glad we got some audience interaction. Okay. Thank you.
Pomegranate is also actually really good. I like pomegranate seeds a lot. Those are delightful.
One of my S tier red fruits, tomatoes. Yes, thank you.
Okay. I knew this was, I could see the grin on your face, and I was like, he's going somewhere stupid, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah. So,
And I just have to really mentally prepare for that.
Here's why. I don't like snack on tomatoes. I mean, they actually are good. You can pop cherry tomatoes, but like they're so versatile. They're in everything. They make French fries better. They like make pizza. Like they're just they're an outstanding fruit. Also, here's a fun note, by the way. Tomatoes are fruit. They are legally vegetables in terms of import-export like tax codes. They're put in the same bucket as like it's
There's
cool, right?
like one guy who works in like importing. He's at home and he's really excited right now. He's like, hell yeah! And everyone else is like, what are you talking?
Yeah, but they're in the same like tax bracket as like carrots and stuff. Which I found interesting, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
how are you gonna tie this back in?
Well, if TSM play really poorly again, we may throw tomatoes at them like we do for bad stage performances.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can hear the booing.
But I did tie it back in, right?
Well,
it wasn't a non sequitur.
Yeah,
it wasn't a good sequitur.
No.
But it was.
It was a freak sequitur.
Yeah.
It was par for the course.
Par for the course. It was like a 17 for like 30 yards.
Oh my god. All right. Well,
really hectic mini golf course.
Yeah, apparently.
Keep going. All right. So, I'm excited to see more Fiora though. I'm really actually happy for now that she's in the meta. Solo queue notwithstanding, all of my friends who play top lane are bad against and as Fiora. I think my team, like my friends that I play with, are like a combined 0, 41, and 2 on Fiora, like across 3 games. It's bad. But everyone's wild. Like, pick whatever you want for me top lane. I'm like, I'm locking in Fiora. Have fun. Trade me Nocturne.
That's why when I play top lane, I just pretend Fiora doesn't exist because it's always banned. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. My strat is get my friends to pick Mordekaiser and flex it jungle. So they'll kind of pick Mord and they'll be like, all right, you get kind of pick. He's like, still kind of pick myself though. I'm like, okay, great. That's good. But we try, Friends with low champion pools, sometimes a little bit of a tough one here.
Can be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of really, really good matchups into Fiora, to be honest, unless you're willing to get pretty spicy. Like if you're willing to get, more aggressive.
Yeah.
Just because she's just so generically strong right now.
She is.
I do think Quinn can be a pretty good answer. I've seen Akshan do okay. Poppy is like fine if you want to kind of try to neutralize. Poppy can always work pretty well in some of those matchups, but there's not a lot of like outstanding matchups, to be honest. And even some of those, even some of the range matchups, if you make a misstep, you can definitely be in trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
If your flip ever gets parried as Quinn, turns out you instantly die, and then you lose for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just don't get to use flip, and you just auto attack. And if you ever do anything to me,
you always have to wait till after the parry.
Yeah. Or you fully win the mind game of like, hey, she's in melee range. I think she won't hit W.
Yeah.
And if I'm guessed correctly, I get a stun. If I guess incorrectly, I literally die.
Yep. It's not a good trade-off there. All right, but we are into game.
Yes.
Got through the pick and ban. The dreaded trade bugs will hopefully not last till next week.
Let's hope. I would like some freer trades here in the LCS in North America. Let's hope we get it happening. Immortals and TSM are heading on to the Rift for our last game of the weekend, and we'll see if TSM manage to be a full 0-3. If they will find themselves a win here in the first week of summer. Got ourselves a nice TSM. Jet, you can keep going. How? No, actually, oh no, I'm not gonna. Never mind. I'm gonna say, how long can you do TSM champ? But that just feels like really like a bad question to ask.
It is, yeah.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
All right, 5 top tier 4 Immortals.
I would love if no one ever walks out. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's actually lost starting with the sweeper. They'll probably give the XP to their soul laner.
Yeah, IgNar needs to walk away. Yeah, loss has to be there.
Wait.
So sharing it 4 ways is fine. I believe you can share it 4 ways and you still get level 2 off the first wave. Doesn't affect junglers in any way at all. I think there aren't any breakpoints there. So, okay, the guy who sweeps gets 10 gold. Good job, lost. The guy who last gets 10 gold. Okay, you've printed 20 money. Good job, congratulations. As long as you split it at most 4 ways, XP is locally shared, like with any minion. It will make Revenge and PoE level off of 6 minions.
Okay, I've got. Usually I don't do this, but the in-game chat was actually really good in this one. Just immediately as they go 5 top. Tactical in all chat. Revenge needs 5-man. The speaker goes, Revenge already needs help.
Sadly, no reply.
No reply. Well, there was an XD earlier.
Yeah, well, yeah. Spica said lol, Revenge said XD, and then his whole team backed him up. Nice. Salut. Onto this one. Kenvi, wow, needs 3. I mean, just Immortals, very team-focused, heavy leash here.
Can't even 1v1 the red buff.
Yeah, wow. Just despicable.
My head.
Yep. FMH my head. Lost gonna go for, can auto Q. No.
Is me at E star or W? Let's see.
W.
E-start can be pretty nice. If you go E-start on both, and then you just E the Lucian level 1, and you just kind of auto E in, and then auto, you proc PTA, you proc Electrocute, can be quite nice. Gonna be interested to see how this one goes. Generally, if you're playing Fiora into Vlad, and really all the melee champions into Vlad, you need to be kind of on Vlad's face aggressively, especially in the early levels when his cooldowns are very long. Anytime he uses Q, he doesn't have any spells for quite some time, so you want to try to get those aggressive trades. And on the Vlad side, you're really just looking to kind of trade around your spell cooldowns. You want to be using Q every single time it's up, as already forcing the heal. That is rough from Lost. He's down a potion, down a summoner here, and on... I've got to be honest, it just feels like a little bit painful every time you see someone get caught off guard by that, like a level 2 or something like that, right? Level 2's power spike on Lucian, that is like, I remember people making videos on that like 8 years ago, you know? So it's something that's been around for a while. You got to pay respect. You can count the minions, and is a little bit too close there, so loses his summoner. We'll see if it's going to actually amount to anything more than just a little bit of pressure, but you've got to pay respect to Lucian Nami, because this is one of those lanes that can just blow you out of the game if you make mistakes.
Absolutely, and it is really early game skewed, right? This is the Aftershock, or not Aftershock, sorry, Electrocute version for Nami, which is all anyone plays in pro play, but it is really, really early game skewed. Like in a much later game team fight, you'd actually like rather have Ares shielding once in a while. Like solo queue runner actually puts Ares as the like generically stronger room, but if you're like, no, we're gonna slam bot lane, all we care about is crushing this lane, which, hey, fair point, that's your call, it's your call. Electrocute is just like so reliably applied.
I will say, I'm a little bit surprised he went cleanse this game. Doesn't feel like there's that many good things to cleanse. I mean, it's like Tahm Kench stun. How often is that going to happen? There's the fear from Nocturne. There's the root from Senna. So there are a couple little things, but it feels like heal is much more reliable in this game unless you think you're always going to be the target from Nocturne and going to need it for the fear every time.
A lot of it is the prediction of being exhausted. I think it's reasonable to expect exhaust in this lane from like IgNar or something, and you're like, well, I don't get to finish the all-in if you exhaust one away from me, so a lot of times you will see very aggro lanes run cleanse just as an anti-summoner spell.
Yeah, it's interesting. And if that's his read, I think that's fair. We have been mostly seeing, it seems like, on Tahm Kench, we've been seeing a lot of TP in Senna TK, and we've been seeing Ignite some.
Yeah.
So I guess my read wasn't that it was going to be exhaust, but if that is the read, I think that makes sense. And I think that would kind of explain it. But Kenvi now here, down towards bot side. They see Tribrush. He is not warded.
Spica's here.
But he would be spotted as he goes out of this, and Kenvi could face check Spica here.
Information advantage, TSM. They go the stun from the wall. They find the stun. Here comes the rest, and Tahm Kench not in the right spot. Spell shield is on Kenvi. Is forced to flash. A flash follow. Will it be enough? Yes, it is. First blood on Nami, and they find a bubble for a little bit more. Won't be a kill, but TSM are on the board.
Nicely done. They use all the summoners on the support there, but they do get the first blood. Spica, again, right place, right time, has been having really strong early games. All 3 games, it feels like, for TSM. Spica has been looking good here.
Yep, after health bar, that's how hard the trade is. And you know, the thing about Senna is you can try to heal back up. You have Fleet, you have Q, but she's Zoom.
And guess what? Nami has blue buff, which is actually a big deal because now you can just kind of spam it out. Normally, I mean, it is still bad. The first blood honestly went to the Nami. You would much rather have it on the Lucian, for example. But in this case, it does make it really easy to win out on these trades. The Repose is going to force the pool there from Huni, but you have to be respectful anytime the Empowered Q is up. You got to back it up, wait for him to use it on a minion, then go back in. You cannot afford to be taking those Empowered Qs as the melee champion in this matchup.
Yeah, I know the damage obviously is really relevant. I think the heal is higher when it's on champion as well.
It is.
I've played Vlad in so long.
Yeah,
so
I think it's significantly reduced if I'm recalling correctly.
It's like a 400 health delta total, you losing and him gaining. If you like dodge Empowered Q on you, it's like the most important part of playing the lane out.
Yep. Empowered healing is reduced to 30% against minions.
Yeah.
So I knew it was really significant. I couldn't remember the exact number, but yeah, it is massive.
And that's why literally below his health bar is, here's when my next Q is going to be big. It's nice it makes playing around the cooldown very easily, but it's like, it's turning red. Get out of range or you lose everything you ever gained in this lane. A little bit of root there, won't matter though. Gets away behind the minions, so Tongue Lash cannot land. Fair enough.
But lost to Zoom, and that's a healer on the other side. So, you know, if TSM can continue to actually push this advantage, just make the most out of the blue buff. Just spam your spells out. Continue to try to punish and whittle him down. I mean, Lost is getting low. He's out of mana. This blue buff actually making quite a difference here in this 2v2. So, you know, Spica, right place, right time. Can be unable to react with the spell shield. You know, the W coming out of the brush. It is a very tight timing to be able to react. But as soon as that connected, it felt like TSM was going to get the kill, and they were able to do so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just like Kenvi's camera's like down on the bottom line and do it.
Yeah, very likely.
And you know, sucks. You know, it's going to be a hard one to react to, of course, in the first place. But yeah, that fight went really, really well, and TSM get control for a while.
Another small little thing to note is that, oh, actually, this is really interesting. Berserker Greaves Rush for PowerOfEvil.
Oh, cool. Cool.
That is very atypical. Of course, attack speed is useful, but still, almost everyone goes Sork Boots on Azir. So I am pretty surprised to see this. He is one of the guys that consistently has a different read. I don't know the math on this, so I'm not going to pretend to know it. If you think you're going to be able to sit and auto attack constantly, then I think it makes some sense. My read, though, just looking at team comp on TSM, is like, who is the guy that you're going to be able to sit and just constantly auto attack, right? Yeah. Because if you're just using more like Q poke spells and stuff, which is kind of how I think it's going to function against Vladimir, Lucian, Nami, Corki, they're not just champions that are going to sit there and trade autos with you as much.
Yeah.
I feel like Sork Boots is just way better in those situations. So I think it's a weird build, but he always has his reasoning, and I'll be interested to hear, you know, from PowerOfEvil what his read was in this one.
A couple things I can bring up. So we have no action, let's talk about it. So Azir builds right now aren't building Ashtooth anymore. Yeah. Right? We're seeing a lot of Leandri's Demonic. We saw Luden's Rylays from Ablaze Olive in the previous game. And he's like, okay, I'm choosing to go Conqueror instead of Lethal Tempo, which win rate-wise, Zilla Q is actually equal. Like, it's a reasonable option as far as I can tell. And so he's like, okay, well, where am I getting my attack speed? It's not Lethal Tempo, right? It's like none of my runes. It's not my items. I'll get it from Zergreaves. Now, I don't fully agree. Solo Q supports Sork Shoes is a way better boot option than Zergreaves, so again, your results may vary, but like that feels like the logic.
Yeah, I also just tend to think though that Comet just makes way more sense in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see how it does turn out. You know, again, he is one of those guys who I do respect that, you know, when he goes for these weird builds, he has his reasoning and he's willing to kind of come out and he'll usually tweet about it and say, hey, this is my thought process. So I am interested to hear about it. But I do think if there was like a really tanky front line, I could see how you're going to stack Conqueror and you're going to get a lot of auto attacks off, and that's going to make the attack speed in the Conqueror more worthwhile. But does seem like maybe a hard one to actually make work in this. But we'll continue to follow that throughout the game. For now, though, going pretty well for TSM. 1.5k gold lead here. Feels like they're doing well in all three lanes and winning in all three lanes right now, and farm advantage in jungle. So that has opened up a pretty significant edge. They got the first dragon not super early, but can look to try to move towards a potential goal here.
All right, blue buff on to Azir. P, we can have no problems with mana right now as he moves back towards his lane. And that gets the minions. Okay, cool. Obviously pretty easy to last hit minions and whatnot. One thing to talk about with Zergreaves as well, by the way, is, right, Zergs give you wave clear, Sork Shoes do not, and minions do not have MR, so you're going to get better minion kills that way. If he wants boots too for dodging things like Corki rockets or Viego ganks, and it's like, well, I can do boots too that do nothing for me, or I can do boots too that give me lane control, and that could be another version of that build. Either way, you know, some of these jigsaw pieces do fit together. We've got...
Can be looking.
Yeah.
This is a tough one to get, though, honestly, with Ghost.
Goes for it. All right, ulti on. She'll get the fear unless you flash. She's going to get the fear, but will it be enough is the question. Cool soon. Next Q will nearly kill. He's going to find a little bit more. Here we go to the tower, and that's going to be blood on the floor, seeping into the dirt. That's Immortals on the board.
Well played there. Up on that top side, they were just able to hard force. They get both summoners, they get the ulti, and they get the kill onto Revenge. So that is really good for Immortals there. Putting some pressure down on the bot side, but Immortals had the read that Spica might look for a counterplay down in that bottom lane and are able to back it off, not get dove, and still should be able to collect this full wave. So really all TSM will get as an answer is just the Raptors, it looks like, and a tiny bit of pressure there down on bottom side, but that's going to be really nice. I'm going to be interested to see, you know, will Revenge go towards anti-healing very early? Anti-heal has been nerfed in these most recent set of patches, but the items have also just been made more efficient with higher amounts of AD. Yeah. So I can kind of see both sides of the thought process there, but anti-heal is just so important against Vladimir, and also usually Viego has a significant amount of healing. Nami obviously has healing, so I do think it's going to be pretty useful in this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, okay. Rip. I like it. It's cool. So yeah, the quick math, by the way, on the way, Grievous Wounds was updated, even compared to before any of the nerfs. So back compared to 12.9, you are basically paying less per 1% of Grievous Wounds than you were before because of how much more efficient the items got, right? So like, Executioner's Calling, you know, instead of paying, I'm gonna make up numbers here, instead of paying like 300 gold for 40 Grievous, you're paying like 100 gold for 25 Grievous, which is like, oh, I'm paying less for less, but I'm paying much less for less, right? Assuming you're okay having these weird like demi power spikes where it's not, you know, it's not giving you mythic passive, right? It's not the Ravenous Hydra, it's a chain sword, and that can change things around, right? So it makes it a complex question you can't just solve by, well, the gold value is X instead of Y. It's like the game's harder than that, and it makes a judgment call.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make the read then. It's like, do I have a better 1v1 if I actually, early spike on my Mythic, or am I going to be better suited to have an early Executioners plus pieces of the Mythic? And those are things that, they're going to have to feel out and try to figure out on their own. But thus far, face check here could be in trouble.
Good damage. IgNar only hits him. On the last they go, but he's got the Devour. He's going to jump over the wall, so this should provide safety. Well done. Lost had just enough help. Thank you for building update and gets away safely.
Yeah, just barely able to get out of there. The bubble not quite connecting onto Lost, and there was no ultimate available for Mia, because remember, he used it to actually stop the recalls. I think that would have been the difference, to be able to actually have that to chain on the bubble and Tahm Kench. He couldn't have got the Devour off, so maybe regretting using that now, but still a good bit of pressure there from TSM, and Maple has package here.
Once in, package going to be traded away. He's like, I know what you're coming for. I know you're going to try for the shuffle back, so packages with which has unstoppability, and it comes in. Kenvi going to instantly summon Herald here. Gets the sweeper afterwards. It's a free cooldown, by the way. You can always spam your trinket immediately after summoning Herald. It will refresh the cooldown anyway. Probably a bug, but by the way, you can always just spam that button and get it back up here. The wave will be shepherded in, and that will be 2 plates, by the way, only going to Kenvi. Prevention not hit the turret, so plus 320 to the Nocturne.
Yep, not too bad. At least they got it off. I must imagine it was about to expire, because it seemed like a little bit of a strange drop. They just dropped it right in the river.
He went early.
But they do get the charge off, so not too bad. And potential to take down that tower later on. Going to be a bit of poke there onto PowerOfEvil, of course, as the bubble did land. But I have to say, Immortals has really kind of stabilized, because it did look like TSM was going to be able to kind of snowball their advantage a bit more. They got an early laning lead in all the lanes. That one kill towards top side really helping to kind of stop at that little bit of pressure. This is the face check once more here from the brush. Not able to land the double bubble. Lost backing up just barely enough. Not quite getting him. He was down to like 5% HP there with the Gale Force, everything connecting. But again, no Nami ultimate available, so they don't quite have the damage to actually finish him off.
And he lives, so that's pretty important here. But we still have, you can look at it, TSM up about 1,000 gold, up the first 2 Drakes. Obviously, a ton of bot lane pressure. Well done, Tactical and Mia. I mean, they have been doing really well down there. It's been sad that the team fights where Tactical has faltered, but he's been largely a quite good laner, and I mean, the start of his career was actually quite high. I thought he came in and actually played very well initially, but has had his share of mistakes over the last year or so on TSM. It's tough to see. I like him a lot. I think he can be an excellent player, but it's been so rocky that he's often cost the games instead.
And I think he's one of those guys that I think when he is in a good mental state and when he's playing at his best, he's one of the best players in the league. Like his peak is very, very high, I think. And having watched him a lot at Champions Queue and Solo Queue, he can really turn in some incredible performances. But when things are not going his way, it does seem to struggle with that pressure a little bit more. And that's one of the things that all these young players have got to deal with, and the older players as well. I mean, it's just different when you're playing on stage and knowing that everyone is watching you, knowing that they are judging your every move, and how much pressure can be added in that. Can be really tough for some of the players to deal with. As Immortals looking for the second Herald here. TSM all in the area, so you have to feel like maybe they're going to look to contest, but instead, just pushing through mid. We'll see if they can try to trade a tower here for this, or if PowerOfEvil will be able to clear it out.
And going to shuffle back over. Good little mechanics there. Gets all the way over the wall, and now looking for the rest of the wave clear will happen. Nocturne wants in as well. They're going to find a bit on the Corki there, but not enough, though. Kenvi going to be able to sidestep away from the bubble, but now we've got Vlad coming in. Big damage, should survive it. Even with Ignite, he should survive the ulti, and will survive with about 50 health left now. So out goes Kenvi. Tahm Kench ult not required. Herald Orb, I believe, has been picked up. It's got to be on someone here.
Yeah, they should have been able to grab it. It is on Kenvi, so Kenvi will be able to have that quick reset, probably try to get back out there. Might also just rush towards top and just drop it again. You can see kind of assist pings up towards top there from the Fiora. As it does end up looking... Oh!
Shuffle back in, deletion! TSM support MIA!
Mia not able to react, had the flash available there, not reacting in time, does get scooped in, ends up getting taken out. This IgNar who actually picks up the kill there.
Unlucky.
A little bit unfortunate, but still a nice play from PowerOfEvil, who's just about tied with Maple for richest in the game. Going to be scaling up quite well here. Should have his Leandries combined very soon if he doesn't already.
Safe recall comes out of the Nocturne. One of the nice things about getting the eye is you get your 4-second recall. And every jungler I know like wants to get that off at least once because it objectively gives you tempo. You actually save 4 seconds in your rotation, right? And you can save 4 seconds twice, maybe 3 times if you're constantly hitting uninspects you care about. So it does feel good to get to use at least once. But yeah, gonna look for some point here. Top lane tower is a charge away from dead. That would be 650 gold earned as long as you can gain the local gold. 500 plus the 150 first turret gold. So that's the hope. Love to see this, by the way. Lost trying to be near the jungler. Worth noting, big jungle monsters always drop a soul. So big Krug, big Raptor, big Wolf, right? You're always getting one, and then it's...
Sometimes you just hit the lotto.
And then, yeah, sometimes you get the lotto. I think it's the minion spawn rate, the like generic minion spawn rate for all the little ones. So it's like 1 in 6, roughly.
Yeah.
For everything else, you're like, hey, if I get lucky, I'm getting like 4 souls off of Krugs. If I'm unlucky, I get literally 1.
Yeah, but it can be really, really nice. I mean, if you can time your movements around the map, like you're not farming, right? We'll be able to grab first tower top. No one's there to answer. So this is really nice. Solo gold there. And what is that Herald drop? Those both his Heralds.
He wanted it over the wall, I think.
Really, really weird.
I think he wanted it over the wall and didn't get it over the wall to like come into mid.
But he is in mid.
Okay, then.
So he spawned it over the wall towards blue buff.
He wanted to delay it until he could clear the wave first.
I don't know.
And then join the team.
Okay.
Like, it actually times up, to be honest, with dragons spawning, the wave being cleared, and that will be a charge. Benefit of the doubt is actually might have been a 5-head Herald summon.
Yeah.
Or it was weird. But
very close to not actually getting the charge.
I know.
There, so it did make me a little bit nervous. Either way, gets the charge, so not a big deal. Solo gold first tower up there for revenge is going to be really, really nice. TP flank though coming in here from Maple. Have to think he has package with this TP angle. He does.
Slide ult hits, I think, only 1 right now. IgNar going to be a big threat. Great package though, and will that be everyone dying? Azir solo kills onto Tactical with every summoner available. 2-1 so far. Maple flashing to safety. No one dead else. But we got some reinforcement coming around. And Spica was temporarily Senna, tries to get his team some healing. And then 3v4, I mean, Kenvi just saying, you know what, mid lane it is. So TSM looking to say, yes indeed, 3 Drakes in a row. TSM, though down in gold, may not even lose their mid tower. So TSM, yeah, they lost one more champion, but that feels good to be on Soul Point.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be really happy about that, especially with the fact that Tactical died, no summoner usage. Getting killed off there very, very quickly. And you had to think the fight could have gone really bad for them after that. Huni also didn't have any summoners available, and they still won that fight with one of your bot carries going down in a hurry. Maple did a really good job in this one, though. Got a lot of damage out, it felt, coming from that backside. Huni comes in, tries to enter. Azir is just roasting him. The package tags 3 members and gets a lot of damage out, but then PowerOfEvil straight into the back absolutely deletes Tactical. Mia down in a hurry there as well. But Spica, Maple, and Huni, that top side of the map, playing really well in the team fight.
Yeah. Woo! Already one down. Good kill back on the board for Tactical. Even through the Senna ulti, not going to be a problem here. Needs to run away. And as we now look for the red buff, I do want to talk about something with Tactical in the previous fight. If we get a second, looks like we have stopped for a minute. So actually, I don't think it's Tactical's fault. He died. There were summoners up. So he E'd backwards as soon as PoE shows up. PoE preemptively flash ulted, expecting to need the extra distance. That's a good flash by PoE, but I don't know if you should expect him to flash shuffle you when he started on top. So I think that's a defensible hold of flash. Once the flash happened, it was already too late. There's no way for a human to react to that one. So I think that is actually a defensible death where he did E on time, but PoE was a step ahead.
Yeah, totally fair. Well played there by PoE. TSM, though, on the push. They do get a kill towards the top side.
Just out of the side. Yeah, Tactical this time steps it away, holds his flash correctly, just walks away.
Yeah, barely able to sidestep that one. That's got to be frustrating for PoE. I'm sure he thought he had at least a summoner, if not a kill there. Well played by Tactical. Does survive it. Again, TSM on Soul Point here. Such a big team fight win in the last one. Kenvi. Oh.
In the spot in, Huni gonna have plenty of damage available. Easy smite, but now he can chase one down. Gets the move speed, ulting in to follow a bit more just in case. Spell shield on, you cannot get the channel going. And Kenvi just straight up solo kills Huni.
I mean, Huni just stayed around. He saw him there, and instead of just backing up, drops the ult, ends up using the ult, dies, and doesn't even get the buff as it's secured there by Kenvi. So a really weird one from Huni. Gonna get punished pretty heavily there by Kenvi. Will they try to get more from this? Did they try to go over towards Baron or something like that? They do have Azir. Would be risky, of course. And it will just be pushing out a wave. So it's gonna be 1 kill for the Nocturne ulti. Not that big of a deal, but Huni has got to pay respect to this Nocturne, who is relatively strong.
PowerOfEvil, of course, now does as well. The problem is, yeah, Huni doesn't have flash, so he can never reliably break the chain. There's obviously literally no way for him to get away from that one. Easy grab now onto PowerOfEvil. Tidal Wave is there. He's got no way out. And the ult to claim the kill at the very end. Spica once again finds it 2-0. Taking the Azir and demolishing the kingdom that PowerOfEvil built.
Nicely played. Another kill there on that top side for TSM. Tactical and Spica going to join up to actually knock down that tower. And you can see Anathema's chains completed there for Kenvi. A little bit of an interesting choice because there's so many DPS threats. Doesn't feel like there's one kind of clear person you have to shut down. Yeah. My assumption is that he's going to be linking up to Maple, but we'll see who he actually does end up connecting with there. And it is, in fact, Maple. So Anathema's chains connected on him. The tenacity reduction is very nice. We'll see if he can actually land a fear onto Maple and make use of that.
Yeah, I don't love it, though, honestly. I feel like there are... Like, Steric's Gauge, by the way, actually got buffed. And is from what I can tell, limited data because no one's buying it yet. Actually a very defensible option if you're building a health mythic such as Stridebreaker. So actually is a pretty performant, durable second item.
I also think, with double AP soul laners and a non-insignificant amount of magic damage coming from Nami, you can just go like Force of Nature or something, right? Like, I think that can actually be pretty strong as well. But either way, it's neither hero there as he has gone a different option. I generally just feel like Anathema's is really strong if there's like one person who's putting out most of the damage on kind of like, more teams with like multiple tanks and things like that. Whereas TSM do have a lot of threats.
Yep, Vlad, Lucian, and Viego all just going to bypass that. You can mark them for anything, and you got a bit of bonus health, but not enough, so whatever. Going to move on for now, though. Obviously, he wants his fear to last longer, but I know that's like the intended synergy, right? Is, well, I'm guaranteed to land a fear on most of you, so... but not on Corki.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, if he can get that big fear on Corki, maybe that's kind of the difference maker. And that's what I like to track, try to think about, okay, why did they build this item and then see if it is really working out. It's all down, it feels like, to this fight here, though. 20 seconds until Soul potentially for TSM. Can Immortals actually win a fight? Take away that chance of the very early Soul. TSM already up 1.5k gold. So if they do get this one, it's going to be a really big deal. And package plus DP available again.
Gonna look good. Even a Ward and Tribush should know that all of Immortals are down there. And that means they get all of the control. This should be pretty reliable now. This is the kind of fight that you look like you want. Immortals going back on the other side. Spot the Ward, kills it with W, nicely done tactical. And now the Dragon is up. Winner of Smite. If it's TSM, they get Soul. If it's Immortals, they get Breathing Room. And not much more. Summoners, well, Summons coming up. Nice poke, actually, down there. Good rockets out of Maple. Vlad marked by Revenge. Maybe the best we can get out of the Fiora. Jumps over the wall, wants to get in here. Good ulti. But a tactical push of PoE out of 500 HP. Huni might want this, but Revenge is marking him. This looks pretty reliable, honestly. When does Nocturne come in? And it's going to be the Smite coming through. So, claimed by Immortals, but will it be enough? A stopwatch. Will it time out the ult? Revenge wants the solo. Can't quite get it. And there we go. Follows him down. And now one traded back by Lucian, going in for a bit more, but Revenge is down. And we're going to have Tactical finding his. Azir gets one on the board now as well. And PoE playing the back lane goes to Maple, but the shots are going to land. And PoE will drop. And now only IgNar is left alive. Spica is up. 3 members of TSM are up, and Baron is in their sights.
Immortals get the Dragon, but TSM crush the fight and are going to get a Baron off the back of this. A massive swing of gold here, so you can watch this one more time. I mean, Revenge really doing a good job winning out on this bottom side of that fight. But at the top, Maple really good positioning. Look at these rockets over the edge. They're chunking down PowerOfEvil incredibly low. And with PoE low, it's very difficult for them to enter. The Nocturne ulti gets popped as we're back to live. Oh my
Baron
god.
killed Lucian and nearly killed Maple. Spica has enough there. They didn't have Smite, and...
okay, that got dicey.
That did get dicey.
That got actually really dicey. As, oh my, man.
All of them just took 1 million damage. Spica doesn't have ult, actually.
Oh, he's actually going to die to Tahm.
I would have taken the lifesteal thing. IgNar. Okay, not going to kill him. Yep. All right, so 2 Baron buffs unclaimed. I'm not even sure if everyone else had spawned in time.
I think Mia would have been back up, so they should have 3, right?
Yeah, they should have 3, so they do. 2 Baron buffs gone, I should say, with Tactical being dropped and obviously Spica being killed. Still the right play. Not much more to say.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I just thought they were going to get an easy Baron take, so I wasn't really paying much attention to it. I was kind of watching the replay. But a couple do go down. So for now, the Baron buff not really getting them any sort of an advantage, as there was the shutdown going over there to Kenvi. We'll see, if Immortals can continue to kind of battle back here. As they are pretty far down now in gold. Plus soul point will remain for TSM despite the heroic steal there from Kenvi. PowerOfEvil is getting to a really strong part of the game. He almost has his death cap. That is going to be a very big spike for the Azir. Pit stopped for the Verdant Barrier, part of the Banshee's Veil. Just feeling like you know, it's mostly going to be magic damage that's dealt to him. I think in general, the like actual Banshee's Veil shield is pretty useless against Corki and those types of champions who have spammable ways to actually pop it off. But the MR is pretty nice.
Yeah, I remember doing the math a while ago on Verdant Barrier. The item itself, even when fully stacked, is like
not very efficient.
Barely gold efficient. Yeah. Like a No Magic Mantle is as efficient as upgrading Verdant Barrier, and at that point, finish the death cap probably. Yeah. It's one of the unfortunate things about playing by feel is you're like, oh, well, I think I want an MR item, but like the item's not actually good.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that got nerfed quite a while ago because there was a meta for a while where like everyone went Verdant Barrier first item in every single matchup. So it got nerfed very heavily until the combine, so more of the MR and Power Cone was put into the combine, which is why I do think Banshee's Veil is being overbought, but Kenvi in the 1v2.
Yeah, pretty big stuff right now. Kenvi going to be quite low, down to 500 health. We're just going to come around and they get the kill. Thank you very much. Easy walk away for Spica. He has built pretty much full tank Kraken into Deadman's into the beginning of Force of Nature. Meanwhile, bot lane going down. Kiwi gets a couple of turrets. Okay, congratulations. However, the bottom inhibitor is down. The Rebel Baron power play only 1,000 for TSM as they have been getting cross map. Objectives have been traded back and forth, but TSM still looking quite comfortable.
Yeah, it's interesting for PoE. I think the read was he needed a death cap in mind, so he didn't actually want to look to fight. So he does have that death cap now. You know, got some gold for himself in that top lane, out there split pushing on the Azir. They do lose the one inhib, but not going to lose mid lane inhib as well, so it's not that bad. And it's going to be all about now this next big fight once again around the dragon. If TSM get it, I think that really will secure them enough of an advantage to close this one out.
I think so. 4,000 gold already feels amazing. You double it with a soul, basically. You want to kind of judge the scoreboard a little bit here. On to our second item here for Mia as well, towards what's often redemption. I don't think the exact build path, but something supportive regardless is coming through. Doesn't look like a any one of like the offensive ones.
It's probably
yeah. So I know if you're doing the staff flowing water or consensus have 8 sort of AP on them. So yeah, one of the more defensive ones, which is totally fine. I think your team has plenty of damage anyway. Apple not quite able to kill that ward, but we have Dragon up in 40 seconds. Kenvi got the smite last time, but TSM won the actual team fight. The gold even more stacked in their favor, even more likely to be TSM's. Maybe we get some heroics out of Immortals. We got Huni walking over to the flank, but he will walk through a ward if he does so. Revenge wants to stay on the side as well, and sadly has not had time to split push. He's been stuck team fighting. Marking the Vlad has been fine, but the other 4v4 still looked good for TSM. They've been ahead enough in gold.
And a lot of it has been about the poke, right? They have got to find a fight, I think, before they get poked down from Corki. That is going to be the big question. You know, can you actually start that fight before Maple softens you up?
Oh! Forces an ulti. Big plays out of him. Cleanses away from the root just in case. Nocturne wants in. Will it be enough is the question. They're going to force the pool out of Vladimir. Kenvi stays alive for now. Pretty tanky. Bit of a heal coming back in, but Revenge very low. We're post. And Maple just shuts him down. Goodbye. 10 away from the back doesn't mean a ton, but Kenvi still low, still being chased. Will there be a fight? PoE shuffles in. He wants the big play, but it's already every single kill going TSM's way. They will not end winless. They will take down Immortals. They'll get themselves a Dragon Soul. They'll get IgNar as well. TSM champs are back in the LCS arena, and TSM are back with a win in the scoreboard.
Nicely done. TSM cleaned him up at the Dragon. They're going to push for the win here. Maple massive in that fight, and Tactical forcing out the early ult there from IgNar, making such a difference. TSM ending the week on a high note.
On the board here, under 30 minutes. Those who stuck around to finally get and see TSM get their first win are rewarded for your belief. TSM on the board with 1. They do not even drop a champion. It's a Feria. Maple gets his first win in the LCS.
Nicely done. Great to see a strong performance there from TSM. Tactical having a really good game, I think, overall. You know, the Nami Lucian combo working well for them. Maple as well around those dragons, just landing so much poke. It does feel like Corki has been super effective in the LCS when it has been coming out. We've seen a lot of strong performances there from the champion. You know, Immortals just not able to really get organized for that kind of in-sync engage. You know, we saw them really off kilter a lot of these times. TSM positioning well, not giving them the openings to find those engages, and Maple kind of poking them out before they could really go in. And you look at that final fight, you know, Kenvi taking the ult in, but PowerOfEvil is a screen or two behind, and the team was not really all there on the same page, not coordinated as they went for it, and as a result, TSM crushed them in that final fight.
Yeah, it was a rough look right there. Well done though, TSM. A lot of control. I mean, bot lane looked really good. Narrowly missed a kill once in a while, but they had control the whole way through. They stacked the first 3 dragons with basically no contest. We've seen that get dicey sure, sometimes, but it does seem like a lot of these teams have a read of a high-pressure bot lane going for Dragon Stack.
Yeah.
Not every team does. CLG over in 3-0 are actually playing weak side bot lane, but and that's fun because you're going to see these clash of styles more and more over the course of time. But TSM are like, no, we do want pressure in the bot lane. We are going Dragon Stacking, and once in a while we'll look at Huni, sure, but we're kind of chilling for the most of this one. And in this case, it worked out.
No, absolutely. I mean, I do think it's really, really strong. And I think we're going to see less of teams being willing to give up 3 uncontested, because I just think it's a bridge too far. It's too much. Like, your options of the game are so limited from that point if you give up the first 3. They actually were depending on Kenvi stealing the 4th dragon of the game, which did actually prevent the soul from going over. But you're so pigeonholed into you must be here every 5 minutes, and if your opponents are playing from ahead, it's very easy to set up and actually kind of get the team fight that you want.
And even then, he stole the dragon, congratulations, but they lost the fight that they had to fight around it, right? Like TSM went 4 kills, 2 deaths.
And got Baron.
Yeah, right, and then got Baron for it. It was like, congratulations, we went up 900 gold. Oh no, you delayed soul. Oh, Baron, we're 4K. I guess we're in the game.